Hello everyone, my name is Ultira. I'm a developer for Krita. I'm also a user and tutorial writer. And as you may know, we're currently doing a Kickstarter to improve the text and vector tools. And we're almost at 50%, so it's really exciting. But what I want to show you is if they go all the way down, we have these really cute little fiery headers. And what I want to show you is how to make these headers, because these headers were made with Krita. So the first thing that we're going to do is, of course, we're going to start Krita. This is the latest development version. We cancel my many autosaves. And we make a new canvas. I want to show you how fast Krita has become. So what I'm going to do is I'm picking these 16-bit floats. And with that way I can also just pick a bigger color space, and then we hit create. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add text. And we need to select multi-line text. The idea for the Kickstarter is that we get rid of all this and make it one big unified text tool. And with that we also get rid of all the problems that the text tool currently has. So the first thing that we need to do is, of course, write our own file. As you can see, there's a glitch here, and this glitch is caused by a bug in the text tool, so that's one of the reasons why we want to get rid of it. And then we are going to make the... there we go. And what we also want to do is that we want to have something nice and big and bold, so that we have enough to make our fire burn off of. And this is one of the other bugs that Krita currently has, is that it doesn't deselect properly. Okay, now it's deselected. And what we're going to do is we're going to center this. And now Krita is updating the preview. Because what we're working on right now is a preview of the full canvas, and we're going to make the canvas smaller so that we have enough room. This is a new bug. Why are you doing this? There we go. So this text tool really needs to be replaced, right? Okay, we have our canvas set up. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the animation workspace. There we go. And we're going to save. Fire. Save. Okay, so now it's saved as fire. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a quick group. This is on by default on Ctrl-G. And add a layer to it. Krita can currently only animate vector layers, so that's why we're going to use a vector animation for that. And right now I have the wrong brush. But none of the default brushes are brushes I would use for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our own brush. This is the default, the basic tip default. We're going to turn off opacity, and we're going to turn on flow. And you can have lovely soft strokes, which are nice for painting with. And then for size, we're going to push this down because I want to have like nice thin lines. This down so that it's easier to pick nice thin lines, but at the same time, I don't want to press too hard to get to the big size. So we do this so that we get a nice S shape. So it goes like small, 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 big, 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 big. This is way nice to work with. So we can like make a cute little icon for it. This is very important, is making of the cute little icon. But yeah, as you can see, because of how easy it is to reach these small sizes, it's quite easy to make this icon. I'm going to make this basic tip sketching. Okay, safety presets, and there it is. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to zoom in. Yes. And we're going to draw out the outlines of our first fire, our first flame. So this would be a spark that's getting loose. And here we're going to have fire reaching. Okay. So this will be our first outline of a flame, like our first silhouette. We'll go like this. Okay. This isn't animated yet, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a new frame, and this will be the first animation frame. And you can tell an animated layer from other layers because they now have a little toggle for the onion skin. So if we go to our next frame and make a new frame, we lose our previous frame, and this is where the onion skin comes in. So we click the onion skin and it shows up as blue, because I set the previous frames to be blue and the next frames are going to be green. And then we can draw over this. So with fire, or with animation in general, we always try to make a little story. So right now we have like this a spark that's getting loose, and this flame over here is going to lose volume, so it's going to be pushed down, and this one is going to get up from that, and this one is also going to lose a spark because it's just so big. And this one's going to move like here, and this is going to break up. We'll do it for the next frame. This one's going to become very small now. Yeah, new frame is coming, and this one is going to increase because of this one is going to increase because of this one reducing in size. And what we're going to do now is, yeah, this one has decreased, but it's going to merge with this one. And this one is just going to lay low for now. And then for the final frame, this one is slowly going to connect. These ones are going to merge. And this one is going to spike up like wow. This one's going to get bigger, and this one is going to get bigger so that you can briefly see. That's the last one. And now what we're going to do is we're going to play back. First we're going to save, and then we're going in animation. It's a 4-frame animation, but the frames start at 0. So what we're going to do is that we are going to say that the frames end at 3. And of course we've got to reduce the frame rate because otherwise it will look very strange. And now Krita is going to, when we press play, Krita is going to cache all the animation frames and then play them back. So first we press play, and then Krita is trying to render the animation. You might have to do this a couple of times, and there we go. And then we have our animation, we have our fire. And as you can see, the little story creates this illusion that the fire is moving like this and pressing up. So now we're going to stop. This of course isn't complete. What we're going to do now is that we're going to specific color selector, yeah. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some orange to it, so that we end up here at the base with a yellow line. And for that we can turn off the onion skin so that we are not distracted by it. So a bit more orange. Because fire gets brighter, the hotter it is, and usually when you see that fire, it's mostly the suit that's heated up that you see. We increase the yellow, or we increase the green so that it becomes more yellow, and a little bit blue, so that doesn't become so bright yellow, but a bit more softer. And what we can also do is, because we're now working on flow, we can just reduce the flow and easily pick some soft colors from it. By default, the color picker in Krita is on control click, but I've set it to right click because that's faster for me. Okay, so I'm going to make it really bright now. I'm going to add like this nice little layer of bright yellow. To be safe. What is by default on right click is, of course, the pop-up palette. And the pop-up palette has a color history, which is very useful to us, because that means that we can we don't have to repick the colors here constantly, but we can just select them from here and just paint with them. I'm now doing all the layers at once, or all the frames at once. You can use the left and right keys to quickly shift between existing keyframes. These are keyframes. And we use this to pick up some yellow again. This. And finally we add like this nice little layer of hotness at the bottom. most of the thing, yes. Okay, now we save. Now Krita is going to re-render the frames again, so we press play. Okay. Sometimes it just doesn't work, so you have to press play multiple times. We have a fire! Okay, so the next bit is me doing this for all the other letters, but I'll just speed it up for you guys so that you won't have to watch me draw fire for like half an hour or something. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. What we want to do now is that some of this, the fire, ends up, it is pretty bright, pretty high. So what I'm going to do is that I am going to pick a softer brush, like the airbrush pressure, and I'm going to set that to what was it again? Lighter color. What lighter color does is that it, for example, if I take this mid orange here, it only paints over when the color is lighter. So if I go like this, the bright parts, bright yellow here is unaffected. So we lock the layer. This is the layer lock. This will prevent the whole layer from being affected. And we start here, and we just kind of softly. Oh yeah, that's not going to help. Just kind of softly mix here. Actually, I need darker color, which does the opposite. So that it doesn't get too bright too high. We don't try to avoid the sparks with this. So, and we do this with red as well, but so that's just a bit of consistency here, so that we get a bit of a nice gradient. Just a little bit. And then the final thing we're going to do is we're going to addition. Yeah, we're going to do something similar with the bright yellow, just so around here. Just give it a bit more oomph. Oh yeah, and we're going back to our brush here. Just add a bit of this and there. Turning off the layer lock and erasing a bit so that they make the individual frames a bit prettier. Individual flames a bit prettier. The individual frames of the flames a bit prettier. Tighten the silhouettes a bit. Okay. Save that and press play. Hello. There we go. I think I forgot here to add the brush, so what we're doing is going back here. And we're locking the layer again. There we go. Now we want to affect the rest of the fire as well, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a new layer between the vector layer and the animate layer. This is a flames layer. And this is a text layer. And in between we're going to make it all orange. And we just fill it for color. And then we're going to use the alpha inheritance. Now this is a bit bright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it darker. What did that? Oh right, I'm using addition. There we go. Maybe a bit red. What we want to do is make it a bit browner. Edit. Yeah, this should be enough. Now let's just make it way darker. That's enough. So we have like this nice base layer to work on. And what we're going to do next is that we're going to take our lovely ready-made flame painting thing, and we're just going to softly add some lines here. I'm just going to paint like this. Maybe our flame color should be darker. Yeah, this should be way darker. Darker. Better. Okay. Soften this again and restart. No. Actually, we're going to make the lines on a different one. Layer 5. We alpha inherit this. The thing is the difference between putting layer 5 above the flames and putting it below it is that now alpha inheritance will use the flames as well as the text to alpha inherit, and this is what makes it superior to clipping masks, in my opinion, because you can just combine the things that it will use to clip by the position that you put it in the layer stack. So if we put it up here, then it still kind of affects the rest of the fire. And if I make like a stroke like this, you can see now it overlaps the fire, but what if I do the same thing that I did previously, namely it will only be added if we put on lighter color, and that's then affects the whole layer. Just erase this. Just kind of want to make it look like wood that is on fire. So this is our first frame. This is our second frame, and we can turn this on again. I am going to make this somewhat brighter so that I can see what I'm doing. This one as well. And we just paint over the same lines again, because what we want is just a jittery effect that would show itself anyway because of the difference in stroke. Okay, so we save this and we play. And then we get like this slightly moving kind of feeling that you get because of the fire affecting the wood in reality. Should I do now? By the way, if you want to see multiple layers inside the timeline, what you need to do is you need to show them the timeline. Hello? Yeah. And the flames as well, so that you have here the layer 5 and the flames right underneath each other. I'm gonna name this one wood animation, and I am going to add here, let's just add this one to the short timeline as well, even though it's not animated. what I'm going to do is just add a bit of simple line work here so that there's something that's slightly contingent over the animation. And just make lines here. Let's play again. Now it's trying to render. See, it's slightly contingent here. Okay. And what I think I'm going to do is, if I'm going back to the root animation, is add some slight bits of add some slight bits of yellow in there. Maybe this is the right? I don't know. Yeah, this is fine actually, I think. Again, because we have the lighter color thing on, we don't see the whole, or don't see our previous flames being affected, even though we can paint to keep it a bit contingent. Can paint over the flame silhouette. Can still go like, ooh. That's not good. Let's just paint a bit on the fire themselves. Yeah, I'm adding a bit too much here. And back to this. Save and press play. You need to press several times because there we go. And now it really feels as if it's burning. I'm now going to do this for the other pieces of fire as well. So we're going into fast forward again. Okay, now if I was doing this a bit more seriously, I probably would redo the F, because as you can see, the contrast on the other letters just looks much nicer. Actually, I'm just... yeah. What we're going to do now is... well, we're technically finished here. But what we're going to do now is turn this into a proper GIF, or GIF. Well, the official pronunciation is GIF. We can't do that in Krita, sadly, mostly because GIF export, if we want to do it right, needs a bit more time than we currently have, and we really do want to release 3.0. So there's going to be 3.1, which GIF export is going to be. In the meantime, what we're first going to do is, what we can do is we can export these separate frames. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go into image, have these background color transparent. It's now going to take a while, so that it has a transparent background. Actually, no. Yes. I can't make a GIF with a transparent background. I need a GIF with a white background. Guess it looks nicer. So slowly converting the projection color. That's mostly because I set it transparent to be completely white, because I find that convenient. Okay, well, Krita is being confused over that. I'm going to turn it to white. Ah, there we go. Yes. Be safe. Next thing we're going to do is going into layer, flat image. And now we should have our animation as a single image on the white layer. Yeah. Export animation. Yeah, hit cancel. First we're going to convert image color space to 8 bits. And then we're going to export animation as fiery text.png, and you will see this. Yeah, it's already done. You usually see like a little bar down there. So first we're going to open up Gimp. You might think like, Sarah, Gimp is your competitors, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Gimp is not our competitor. Gimp is our, well, ally, I guess. We get along with Gimp. Okay, this is not good. Yeah. Flatten image. Convert image color space 8 bits. Export animation. Fiery text 00. Save. And Gimp open as layers. Okay, other thing that I need to do. This is really weird here. Okay, what we're going to do is we're just going to fill this white background layer here. Okay, this looks like white. Okay. Flatten image. Convert image color space 8 bits. And export animation. Okay, so that's how you get around the bug. Let me get rid of this. And we close this in Gimp. Open as layers. And what we're going to do is we're going to obviously auto-crop all of this. Is it an auto-crop image? Yes, there's an auto-crop image. That's a bit too extreme, Gimp. Allow growing. There we go. Native one. Image size. Image size. Layer 2. Image size. And layer 2 image size. Now, Gimp has this animation plugin, and we're going to use optimize for GIF here. And then what happens is that each layer is optimized to work on for GIF export. This is why I'm using Gimp for this, by the way. Gimp is right now the best option for this. And we export. Fiery. That's Gimp. Here's Gimp. And Krita. As an animation. Now, what we did was that we had this animation run for 8 frames per second, and it was a 4-frame animation. So what we need to do is, if we have like 1000, which is like 1 second, and we have 8 frames per second, that means that the end result is that we've run each frame for 125 milliseconds, because that's 1000 divided by 8. Yeah, cumulative, because we've done the thing. Use delay above for all frames, use disposal above for all frames, and export. Now, we probably should have resized this image, but if we go into our cute Kickstarter headers folder, there we go. Our own fiery GIF text, which is way too large, but we can resize it later on. Anyway, that's how you make a fiery header with Krita and with Gimp. Maybe you have another GIF converter that you like much better, and hopefully in the future we won't need to use Gimp for this. Anyway, that was all I wanted to show you, and I hope you would like to still contribute to our Kickstarter, so that we can improve our text tools and our vector tools, and continue on improving Krita in the future. And I'll hope to make you hear from me again.